13 different counties, just pieces of counties for this district. And so we're, out to a very slim lead there with very few votes counted. Yeah. So not a lot going on there just yet. Christian Menifee, the incumbent, this is Sylvester Turner, Representative Sylvester Turner's seat. Of course, he passed away. Christian Menifee just won the special election there several weeks ago, and he's back in it again to see who will go forward. We really have two incumbents in this, though. Al Green, also an incumbent from a nearby district there in the Houston area that was gerrymandered away when they did that mid-decade redistricting. And so, he's trying to run in a different district. And right now, both of them are, sitting right in that threshold where that would go to runoff. But again, we're at about almost 70% of the estimated vote total in.
And I don't think Amanda Edwards is in the race anymore.
She is not, but she
has
is still
6.5%, which could have put one of them potentially over the top.
That's exactly right. She's still on the ballot, but she dropped out. So, she's still picking up votes.
Indeed so. 25,000 votes there. But what else is fascinating about this? This is the generational play where you have an older Democrat versus a younger Democrat here. And we saw the same thing play out in Austin when Lloyd Doggett decided he would retire and let Greg Casar take the seat that Republicans redistricted there. Right. That's not happening. Al Green says, listen, I want to stay in Congress. I'm going to run for this seat. And
he is outspoken, and we'll see if Christian Menifee can edge that up just a little bit and escape a runoff there. We'll be watching that one throughout the night. Freddie Haynes, this is the old district of Jasmine Crockett, who, of course, is running for U.S. Senate. He's out to a big lead here. Not many votes in yet. They're all from Tarrant County. This district spills over into Tarrant County. We've got nothing coming in from Dallas County, which is the bulk of that district. So a lot to pay attention still there as we go through the night. This one is for the new 33 that was created, and this is another one of those where the mid-decade redistricting is packing Democrats into a certain area here. Right. You got Julie Johnson, who was the incumbent in District 32, running against Colin Allred, who got into the race late after he got out of the Senate race. Nothing to report there yet. And then we've got Rhonda Hart. This is out as you go toward Beaumont. You got Jasper, Lufkin, Winnie, Houston, another one of these sprawling districts that covers a lot of land there. Rhonda Hart, of course, got into politics because her teenage daughter was a victim of gun violence, and that was the primary issue motivating her. She's pulled out to an early lead here. Still a good amount of vote left to come in on that one, too. Let's go down the Republican side. Wow. This one's been called here. Trevor Nels already called as the winner in this, even though a huge portion of this district in Brazoria County hasn't reported anything yet, but Fort Bend County and part of Harris County, obviously doing very well there.
And what's fascinating about this, of course, his twin brother, identical twin, Troy Nels, decided he would retire from Congress, and Trevor's taking that position.
That name recognition can be pretty huge, even if you're not.
They look alike, too, exactly
that helps as well. This one is the newly created 32. Kind of looks like somebody's pointing at you here in Dallas. And you can see that at least right now, all of the counties are lining up. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 counties represented here. This goes all the way almost to the Louisiana border. Right now, Jace Yarbrough in the lead. Not too big of a surprise there. He's gotten the endorsements of Abbott and Trump on this one, so they agreed on that candidate.
But what's fascinating here, there are 10 people in this race, 10 or 11 in this race.
If he can get out of this.
And he might win it outright.
That would be tremendous.
And just to remind our viewers, too, this district was a solid blue district. This was one of the 5 that Republicans busted up and redrew. Yeah. This is the one that Julie Johnson currently represents, where they added all these Republican voters in there, and now it's a solid Republican seat.
Yeah, it used to just look like this in here, more or less. So we'll see if he can hold on to that no runoff lead there. Then we get to this one. These two have gone back and forth and back and forth. It was his seat, and then it was her seat right now. Carrizo Richardson is still on track right now with 60% of the estimated vote, according to the AP. That is a pretty sizable lead that she's got there. Let's go to the House now and talk about this one. This is the Fort Worth City Councilman versus the Northwest ISD board member here. And that is not even close, but again, still a lot of vote left to come there. Let's go down here and check. This one is another one of these that just, you got 23, 9, 5.5, 3.8. That one is probably going to a runoff. A lot of these are going to be new faces. You know, as we go through these different state house districts that we're running through here on the Republican side, a lot of these are new faces because we've seen the incumbents move on.
And if you've been around TV for the past 2 or 3 weeks, you've likely seen this race here. State House District number 98 for the state legislature, Armin Mazzani and Fred Tate. These guys
Keller
have been
Mayor here
spending
in the lead.
a lot of money. And this is the way the vote totals are lining up, with more than half the vote in right now.
And then we finish up here in State House 106. Jared Patterson, the incumbent here, hanging on right now, doing very well with about 64% of the estimated vote in. This is an interesting discussion, though, and it tells you sort of, where the Republican Party has sort of, moved along to here in Texas. Larry Brock, who is in second place with almost a third of the vote from primary voters in the Republican side. In case you're not familiar with him, Larry Brock is a former January 6th person who was at the Capitol that day. He calls himself a J6 political prisoner who served more than a year. You may remember him for the green helmet and the zip ties, and he was on the Senate floor there. But again, almost a third of voters in the Republican primary thinking that this is the candidate that they wanted to send. But Jared Patterson just holding on right now with a pretty substantial lead there.
All right, we're going through these numbers here in a few more minutes. Let's talk about the other, not a surprise here, but we did get one other race called. It's the Republican race for governor of Texas. Governor Abbott easily won that race. That was going to be no surprise here with 82% of the vote. This is, again, not a surprise. He was going up against Pete Chambers and Evelyn Brooks. Abbott was not at all in jeopardy here, had plenty of money. He was going to be fine. But let's go right now to Teresa Woodard. She is in Austin with the Cornyn campaign. And Teresa, these early numbers out have been consistent, showing that the senator is maintaining his lead there.
Yeah, so I do want to tell you, I was just looking at my laptop, those numbers you just saw from Governor Greg Abbott, that's the kind of number that we have seen before for Senator John Cornyn in some of these primary races. But tonight we are certainly not seeing that, although the numbers that the Cornyn campaign is seeing right now, they say they are, quote, good so far. Say they like what they see so far. We certainly know this is a race that has been framed by a lot of people as establishment versus MAGA. Senator Cornyn certainly has a long political history here in Texas. He has been an elected official in the state since 1984. He has been senator since 2002. He says his experience helps him. He says his experience shapes him. He says his experience helps him help Texas as well. However, on the other side of this, you have Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who has really hammered home that message, saying Cornyn is not loyal enough. He is a member of the establishment. We have seen a lot of campaign ads on both sides from Cornyn and from Paxton. This has been the most expensive primary race for Senate in U.S. history, and the biggest spender in all of that has been Senator Cornyn, about $70 million spent by him alone, mostly just attacking Paxton's character, and we know that this is likely not over. The Cornyn campaign fully expecting that tonight will end with those two candidates, Senator Cornyn and Attorney General Ken Paxton, going to a runoff. They are fully prepared for that, and that is why tonight, you may see behind me, this is not a traditional watch party. In fact, there's been some awkward silences here because it's really just a room full of reporters who are standing in front of cameras and giving live reports like I am, and we are expecting to hear from the senator at some point, most likely within the next hour. He will likely be taking that podium that you see behind me, giving a few short remarks to the cameras and then taking questions from reporters here. We know that the senator spent the day here in Austin really just meeting with his advisors, trying to get the vote out, trying to get people to go and vote on this election night. We will continue to keep you posted throughout the evening, but for now, we'll send it back to you, Jason.